From the heart of El Monte, City Hall West, it's El Monte Tonight with your host, Arturo Esparza, and co-host, Miss Vivian. And tonight on the El Monte Tonight Show, special guest, State Senator Ed Hernandez, as well as Olga Guiterrez from La Historia Historical Museum, and our guest band, Big D and the Blue Street Band. And I'm yours truly, Miss Jamie Neary. Big D and the Blue Street Band, go on, boys, and take us away.
You see the sun is rising as a gas bomb fills the air, and the warmth of love is residing on a board that we both share. So I sit and watch the neighbors stirring as I drink coffee beneath the shaded tree, and the warmth of her smile is rewarding, sets my soul on the wind so free. It's a life worth living. It's a treasure of mine. It's a life that keeps on giving. That needs more than sun. It's a life worth living. It's a treasure of love. It's a life that keeps on giving. Rising each morning. Oh, I say the moon is rising as our music fills the air, and the warmth of your smiles just remind me. Close my eyes and she is there. It's a it's a treasure of love. It's a treasure of love. It's a life that he's all giving. The rise of the morning sun. With the rise of each morning sun. Thank you.
You guys always sound so good out there. Well, here we are once again. That little show around the corner, up the block from where we live. El Monte Tonight with myself and Miss Vivian, the lovely and talented. Could you give her a round of applause, please? That's the better half, my TV wife, and we have a lot of fun here doing this stuff. Just a real quick announcement before we go to our first guest, and that is the Back to School Resource Fair, Saturday, August 23rd, 2014, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the El Monte Valley Mall. And this is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, the South El Monte Chamber of Commerce, in a partnership with El Monte Union High and Mountain View School Districts. And let me tell you, every year it's a wonderful thing because a lot of these needy kids and families, they get books, supplies, backpacks, They get the whole 9 yards. So you want to go down there, bring your family, bring your friends, participate in what's going down. Okay, now we're going to jump over to a very distinguished guest, the one, the only, the Right Honorable Senator Ed Hernandez. Give a round of applause, please. So, Senator, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being so patient. I know we're going around like chickens with their heads cut off, but we're a couple of interns short today. The 2 young ladies that just came in, grab a seat. Make yourself at home. Don't be shy. So we have people, they always drop in all the time. So there are so many wonderful questions I got to ask you, Senator. First of all, what's the latest thing happening up in Sacramento? What's going on? Is there some big issue we should know about?
Yeah, very, very big issue. The best news is we have a balanced budget. The great news is the economy's picking up. We're starting to restore all of the cuts that we made in the bad years. More jobs are coming into the state of California, and there's good times ahead for us.
It sounds beautiful. Hey, I'll take a round of applause on that, please.
Yeah, very good.
Because those of us that don't recall, there was a nice little program called Proposition 13 back in the day that forced a lot of property taxes to be cut off, and we lost a lot of services, which we really realized some 20 years later.
Right.
We started feeling it, and it is just so amazing. I'm so impressed on how you were able to break through the gridlock of Sacramento, because for the longest, you had such partisan politics going on there.
Right.
You couldn't get anything passed.
Well, let's look at California and compare it to the federal government. There's a lot of gridlock at the federal government. Unlike in the state of California, we are passing budgets. Last year, the governor signed all of my special session bills for the Affordable Care Act. California has done some incredible things on implementation of the Affordable Care Act, taking the lead in the country. We have signed up over 3 million Californians. We are way ahead of the rest of the country. We're going to do a water bond this year. Last year, we voted for the Proposition 30, which was the money that's going to go to the schools. More money is going to go to the school districts.
Beautiful.
Lower income individuals kids are going to get more resources. Great times. California is doing the job that it needs to get done.
Well, that is fantastic, and I know you're, have very much a part of that because you're constantly on the go, and have seen you so many different events and come out and support our community, and that's a very wonderful thing. And I know you got like a lot of good projects happening. It's just amazing. I don't know where you find the energy. Could you give me some?
Well, I'm very blessed and fortunate to wake up every morning and I'm healthy. My wife loves me. My kids still talk to me and think life is great. Life is great. I'll tell you the best news, though. Here's the best news, for me at least. Both of my children are adults. They're out of the house, college educated, have a job, and they're completely off the family payroll. We got a huge raise.
There you go. Wow. Look at that.
Round of applause.
Now, you told me earlier you have 2 daughters.
2 daughters, yes, all
And
grown.
what are their ages?
Well, I won't say my age. They are their ages because they want to say. But my oldest runs my private practice. She's my office manager and does all the day-to-day operation. My youngest daughter just graduated from college and is a 2nd grade teacher at LAUSD.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
Very good job as a dad that you
Thank
did
you.
bring
did
them
great.
up very well.
Welcome to the Senator Ed Hernandez show. Yeah, how can you top that? The only story I get to match it with is just when we're talking about capital government. My son just graduated from Dominguez State with cum laude, and it's funny because we had our diplomas next to each other,
Okay.
and they're both signed by Governor Brown.
Okay.
I had him the first time coming in, and now I got him going out, and it's great. And I'll tell you, people out there, make sure your kids stay in school, study, and grow up to be a wonderful gentleman like this, and help a lot of the community. And it's really a blessing. Really a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay, now let's take it a step further before we run the videos. What does Senator Ed Hernandez do for fun and relaxation?
Well, first of all, I'm a workaholic, so I love what I do. Being an optometrist as well as being a state legislator. But for fun, and what I do for relaxation is spend time with my kids, my family, my wife, and on Sundays, we try to get out and bike ride and either spend time with 1 or 2 of the daughters.
Wow. So
That's what I do for fun.
And that's fun. Yeah, I can see going on the bike ride. That must be awesome. Any particular location you go to? Or
Yeah, actually we do. We live in the city of Azusa, and we take that along the riverbed,
Right.
ride it all the way to Santa Fe Dam, right around within Santa Fe Dam. When it's too hot, we'll ride out to Huntington Beach, right
Wow.
along the beach, and then head on home.
Well, so much for
That's a
MTA.
long
folks.
way. That's a long
We're
way.
gonna just hook a ride with the city. Forget the bus system. I'm sorry. But that is really great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it beckons the question. What led you into doing public service? Because I mean, that's a great commitment.
Well, as you know, I'm an optometrist, a doctor of optometry. I have a practice in the city of La Puente, the community I grew up in. And what I learned being an optometrist, the role that government played on, number one, what I could and couldn't do. For example, my licensing, the HIPAA, federal regulations, state regulations. So I got involved in the community, became a community activist, and I started to meet a lot of local legislators, the mayor. And I'll tell you, there's one individual that I met very, very early on in 1992 that really changed my life about government and the political process.
Right.
This young woman that was running for the state assembly at the time, I met her at a local hamburger stand, liked her, supported her. Her name is Hilda Solis.
Oh, I remember her.
Got elected to the assembly, first Latina into the state senate, U.S. Congress, on the cabinet for the
Labor Secretary.
Obama administration. Now she's running for board of supervisors. So I got the political virus, got the political bug, and decided to run and make a difference. And here I am in the state senate.
Yeah.
Great.
Great to have you. So I'm thinking, okay, what could you tell a young person out there that's thinking of public service life? What would be the advice if you had them right in front of you right now?
My advice is get involved in, number one, your community. Give back. Get a college education. And public service is a very, very noble cause. You know, there's a lot of negative aspects about it. You hear all the media. But there are some really hardworking individuals that dedicate their life to working for us, the public, for you, for the cities, the county, the state, our country. You know, and we have a great democracy in this United States. We have a great legislature in the state of California, and that's how it all works. So I would encourage them to be involved in community events.
Well, that's well put. Well put. So, what do you think of our band? Do you think they should get in politics?
I think the band is great. I mean, you guys are incredible. I love your sound.
Thank you, man.
Anytime you need us.
Okay.
See, that's how political contacts are made around here. Okay, folks? Anytime you need us. You look like the mafiosa here. Ready to run out the door.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, it doesn't matter what they look like. You guys sound great. But you look great as well.
Thank you.
You look great as well.
Well, good. I hope you don't have to run off. I wanted them to play another song, and then we could talk more and run the video if you have time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. See, I like that attitude.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. B and Blue Street Band. There we go. Monte tonight.
I love waking up to a golden sunrise. I love my warmth body next to my side. I like the way you always think things up, like peanut butter pancakes and rum buttercup. And when dressing the legs, cause it brings a smile on my face. I like the way
You know what the best thing is? They just met in the parking lot today. What talent.
Yeah, and thank you for that nickel tip.
Yeah, we try our best. Whatever I can do to help the people. But maybe another quick announcement. Just remind people once again that New Hope Community Church is hosting a neighborhood party Saturday, July 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right behind El Monte High School football field. The local community is invited, so go on down. Everything's free. There'll be drawings, music, and martial arts demonstration. So you want to go down there, help out. They're really good people, and they're very supportive of the community. And remind people once again, the 16th of July, we're having our good buddy Ray Carrion. We'll be performing with the Latin All-Stars over at Arceo Park for our concerts in the park. Awesome. And then Miss Vivian will be there, so you get a chance to meet us close up in person, because we'll be introducing some part of our channel halfway through the show. And just one last one, because this is coming up, it's a while from now, but over at Cran's Intermediate School on 12460 Fineview Street, El Monte, California, there will be a custom car show, and that is August 24th. From 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And our own Miss Vivian with her band Second to None will be there. Let's get a round of applause for Miss Vivian.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's everywhere. She's going to be with Brenton Wood at Stevens Steakhouse on the 27th. She's going to be with the Latin All-Stars on the 26th at El Gringo's Cantina. So, I don't know. This thing's popular, man. So you better sign her up now while you have a chance. I think I'm going to lose my co-hostess pretty soon.
No, you won't. You won't. We also have an upcoming event on the 12th, which is this coming Saturday. And I understand it's on Whittier Boulevard, I guess, wwhere the
Norwalk
old
Records.
Norwalk Records used to be. And it's called now Sounds of Music.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what it is, Sounds of Music. My bad.
yeah, Sounds of Music. And my band, Second to None, will also be there at 1 o'clock on the 12th, Saturday.
I'm in the wrong business. Awesome. I don't know. Hey, Liz, I tell you. Well, let's get back to somebody who's not rich and famous, our senator, Ed Hernandez. Okay, now that we have all the celebrities here. The videos that you gave us, it's like a four-parter, and I know you mentioned that it's a water bond.
It's a water bond that's going to come up here in the 14th, or this next election cycle. And we've put a series of videos to educate the public, more in particular the San Gabriel Valley, of the importance of water. Right now we have a drought.
Right.
But I don't know if you knew this, but 80 to 90% of the water that we drink here in El Monte, the San Gabriel Valley, all comes from below us in the aquifer.
Wow.
The problem is that water at one point and still is contaminated.
Sure.
It was contaminated back in the 60s along the foothills in Monrovia. The aerospace industry used to dump out their rocket propellants when they used to try to make it, all their chemicals, and it contaminated. So we need to clean it up. So that water bond is going to help clean it up along with the federal government. And so the state, as we pass it, is really, really important that we have clean, drinkable water. So this video kind of shows how we get our water, how we clean it, and how we give it to your constituents, my constituents, in this area.
Well, we're going to give the contaminated one to the band. Just make sure, like the canaries in the cave, make sure that it's safe.
Well, I'm assuming that what they drink is tequila, right?
Excelente.
Yeah.
Tequila. Pura sangre.
Just say no to drinking, folks.
Southern California. Hi, I'm State Senator Ed Hernandez. The reality of water in California is that most of the state's precipitation falls in the northern part of the state and in the Sierra Nevada mountains. But the majority of farms and people are in the central and southern part of the state. These facts have enormous implications. Along with my work in the Senate, I'm bringing you a few short videos to get you up to speed on what you should know about water. In the first episode of San Gabriel Valley Waterwise, I'll show you where our area's water comes from. Then we'll talk about the threats to our water supply that should have all of us concerned.
My name is Shane Chapman. I'm the General Manager for the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. Since 1960, the Upper District, along with several other agencies and water utilities, has provided a reliable, high quality, and affordable water supply.
When it comes to managing water in the San Gabriel Valley, the conversation starts and ends with what's below our feet. A giant geologic bowl capable of holding an extraordinary amount of water.
It's easiest to think of the basin as a large bowl The sides of the bowl and the bottom of the bowl are defined by solid rock that's deep beneath our feet. Inside of that bowl, there's gravel, sand, and in between all those small pieces of gravel, sand, the rock, is water. The area that it underlies basically runs from the mountains directly behind me, the San Gabriel Mountains, southward down to about the 60 freeway. And it runs westward from about the city of Glendora all the way over to the city of South Pasadena. But we have to keep in mind that there's a finite supply from the basin, and we rely on that water to provide freshwater drinking supply to all the residents of the San Gabriel Valley.
Right below us is 90% of the water that's supplied to the San Gabriel Valley, and
Right.
it's very important. And you were mentioning also that the source is from rain, snowpack, the runoff literally right down
Right from the mountains.
that they come here. Is there ever an instance, obviously it's dry, we're in the bed, there's nothing here, and is there ever an instance where we don't have enough rainfall, enough water, that the water below us is at risk and not be able to provide our residents?
Yeah, we commonly go through prolonged dry periods. The last 2 winters, including this winter, are perfect examples of this. Rainfall just this year has only been about 40% of average.
Okay.
So we're seeing the basin levels drop. There's enough water in storage currently to tide us through this. But we always have to be mindful of how much water we're extracting from this groundwater basin beneath our feet, and that we put back what we take out,
Right.
so that it's a sustainable supply.
We get our water obviously from the ground below us
Right.
and from Northern California. What are some of the risks to the community in the San Gabriel Valley if those sources and if those water sources aren't available?
Well, of those 2 main sources you named, the water from Northern California that's imported, and the local water that comes from the mountains and the local rainfall, the risks are earthquakes, prolonged drought, pumping restrictions on the imported water because of endangered species issues in the Bay Delta sensitive ecosystem. And here locally, the rainfall and the snowpack we depend on is highly variable. So we have to take all that into account as we manage the local water supplies and make sure we preserve enough water in this groundwater basin that's below our feet in order to carry us through those times, those long dry periods as an example.
So when you're saying earthquake, I'm assuming earthquake in Northern California, if the levee should break and therefore that water is not going to be accessible here to Southern California. Or is there an example where if there's an earthquake here that could cause, damage here to our infrastructure?
Major earthquakes are a critical concern. Obviously, California has a very serious seismic risk associated with it.
Okay.
And here in this basin, in the San Gabriel Valley, we're plumbed into the entire state, all the way up as far as San Francisco, where we get our water. And all along that string of infrastructure we depend on, there's several earthquake faults, including the San Andreas. And that runs right through some of the facilities.
It's pretty frightening, because they just listed all the possibilities. And do not try this at home, children. He is a paid professional. But that's incredible. That's incredible. It's the things that we don't think about.
Yeah, here's water. We don't think of it much because we turn on our tap, we wash our cars, we fill our swimming pools, and we take for granted. We never have an instance where we don't have it available. But that's why it's upon the legislature to protect it, to make sure the aquifer is clean, to make sure the water is clean that comes to you. That's why it's important that we educate the public, but more importantly, pass the bond so that we can make sure that we have clean, drinkable water.
Okay, then the next question is going to be the bottom line. How much is that going to cost?
Well, right now there's a bond that's going to be put on the ballot, and it's a general obligation bond of about $11.5 billion for the entire state of California. We're looking at reducing that to make sure that the voters understand and are willing to pass it. So we're in discussions and having negotiation with the administration. It's going to be anywhere between $6 to $8.5 billion. But this is money that the taxpayers will pay to invest back into our state infrastructure. It's like something that we need, and it's not just San Gabriel Valley. It's Northern California. It's water conservation. It's recycling. It's dams, building new dams. It's the infrastructure that we need to protect and make sure we build and continue to upgrade.
And it should make jobs.
Lots of jobs, lots of well-paying jobs, water, construction, recycling, all of the jobs that are going to be available for that.
See, there's hope for you guys. You can't know that.
I can build the desalter for you.
There you go. So he's ready, man. He has his own little chemistry kit at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Now, you brought us another disc. What's that one in regard to?
Well, we got some transportation videos as well. As you know, we've got a lot of money that we're fighting for. I've always said that in the San Gabriel Valley or east of the 605 freeway, there never seems to be enough money. So it's been my goal to make sure that we bring as many resources. We're able to bring, I'm sure you've noticed when you drive down the 10605 freeway, that overpass that's building. That's something I worked on in 2006. We were able to get $74 million invested to build that. It's going to be done in 2015. We were able to bring the goal line all the way to Azusa, the hot lanes, a lot of transportation money. We need to bring it to make sure that we have sustainable transportation, whether it's biking, light rail, bus systems, all of that. We need to make sure we have the resources here in the area.
Okay, now I gotta ask this question because me, I'm just plain nosy. If you get that going, because they did away with the diamond lane, and I happen to like the diamond lane. I used to sneak a lot of friends in there so we could get in the lane. And don't laugh. Anyway, and when they did, it created like a toll zone.
Right.
See?
Right.
And I hardly see anybody using it. I mean, when I'm driving down the 10, it's like it's practically empty, deserted.
Right.
Whereas you created another mess. Is that ever going to change? By building more, are we going to have more space or just more cars?
Well, believe it or not, it is working. And the money that's being generated for that is going back to the particular regions. There's money from that going into the San Gabriel Valley. Most of that money, guess what it's used for? To build that El Monte station that we just had built here. Yeah. So there's a lot of money now coming available. At one time, it was a lane. I was concerned that it was going to be using public lane that you're going to have to pay for. There was a transportation project that we're currently doing right now. I'm introducing some legislation to make that permanent, but the reason why I'm doing that is because that money is going to go back to the area. But we used the existing lane, expanded it, and we're able to have more traffic flowing through the 10 freeway as well.
Good. Yeah, that's how they
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and going in both directions.
Right.
Too. That's unfortunate. Well, let us run that other video, and we'll get a little taste of that, and then we'll go back with the band if it's okay with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here on El Monte.
No, the smog was black, thick, and literally choking the life out of our region. I'm State Senator Ed Hernandez. The people of our great state did not stand for terrible air pollution. So in the years that followed, California went on to lead the nation in creating air quality standards. The result was a dramatic improvement in air quality and in the health of our citizens. But in the 1940s, California had 2.8 million vehicles. Today, we have more than 30 million. So now more than ever, we must continue to look for cleaner, more efficient transportation options. In this episode of Destination Forward, we'll check on the status of our air quality and talk with people on the front lines fighting for clean air.
AQMD is the clean air agency for much of Southern California. Our job is very simply to clean the air, improve air quality so that it meets federal health-based standards and the air is healthy to breathe.
Today, our region's air pollution is monitored and regulated by South Coast AQMD, a recognized world leader in pollution control. And while our air quality has improved, there are more vehicles than ever, and our region is impacted by pollution from an ever-growing goods movement industry.
Much of the goods movement industry is powered by diesel, whether it's diesel trucks, diesel locomotives, and looking, say, 20 to 30 years into the future, in order to meet air quality goals, we're going to have to move towards more of a zero-emission goods movement system. And of course, that's going to be quite a challenge.
And the staff at South Coast AQMD is tackling that challenge head-on. Recently, I got a behind-the-scenes look at the latest technology in fighting air pollution. Thanks for having me here. First of all, tell me what you do here.
This is the South Coast Air Quality Management District's Air Quality Laboratory. It's one of the largest and most sophisticated laboratories of its kind in the country. What we do here is we analyze air samples taken from across our 4-county, 10,000 square mile area. We do this for several different reasons. One of them is to track our progress in improving air quality over the years and the decades. We also want to know exactly what pollutants and chemicals are in the air that we're breathing. We also do this for special monitoring studies. If a community has a particular concern about a nearby facility or even a nearby freeway, our technicians can go in the field, capture a sample, and bring it back here for analysis so we know exactly what is in the air.
After seeing the technology, I wanted to know how it's being used to help people in our community who are affected the most by pollution. My concern is if you look at these communities that are along freeways, sometimes they're some of the poorest communities that have the highest incidences of chronic diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure.
As you mentioned, many environmental justice areas are along freeways and busy roadways. AQMD has done several projects installing air filters in classrooms that are close to heavily traveled roadways. This has proven to be an effective way to reduce especially fine particulate pollution.
Oftentimes, when people think of managing air pollution, statewide restrictions on vehicles and industry probably come to mind, but there are other air pollution controls that might surprise you. Mark Christoffels works with the Alameda Corridor East Construction Authority, and they're building an underpass here at Baldwin Avenue. Tell me about ACE. What is ACE?
We're known as the Alameda Corridor East Construction Authority, or ACE for short. We're very unique. We're a government entity that was actually formed by 31 cities in the San Gabriel Valley working cooperatively to solve transportation issues.
Okay, I didn't mean to cut there, but see, I segue really nice on this. Okay, because there's a construction alert for the Alameda Corridor. Major excavation and hauling of dirt on Baldwin Avenue to begin July 9th for 3 weeks. So we want to let people be aware of that there's going to be construction going in there, as it already is, and that you should be cognizant of that to avoid getting caught in all that. Okay, so it tied right in perfectly. I couldn't have wrote the script. That was so wonderful. Well, you know what? You are just such an accomplished individual, and I'm so amazed. I'm dumbfounded. I want to hide my glasses because he's an optometrist. I'm like, these are only readers. But what does the future hold for the center?
Well, I'm up for re-election right now in 14, so I'll run when the governor runs. Hopefully I get re-elected. If I'm lucky enough to get re-elected, it'll be an honor to serve the residents of the San Gabriel Valley and hopefully serve for another 4 more years.
Folks? Yeah!
Thank you.
You made such a subject look so interesting. I was fascinated. Well, that is so really good. So, looking forward to that. You're not no higher aspiration?
I don't know. Servant, but I still love the world of being an eye doctor and seeing patients. Actually, I'm on legislative break right now for a month. Believe it or not, I'm going to be seeing patients off and on. And there's what I really enjoy about it. There's times from the time I start seeing patients till I leave that day, I speak Spanish from beginning to end, serve in a predominantly Latino community, help the individuals that need the care the most, dealing with individuals with, conditions that need to be taken care of. And I love what I do. I don't consider it a job. I like going to my job, both of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. President? Oh, no. There goes the talk.
That would be great.
That's what they talk. That's called cheese man.
No cheese man right now.
Okay.
No cheese man.
Okay, take it over at the end of the week, okay, kids? I want to know that. Well, you know what? You're welcome to stick around for the rest of the show. We've got about a half hour left, 25 minutes. So you can enjoy the band, and then we're going to be bringing up our next guest, our Historical Society here. And they're going to be doing some fundraising efforts, and it's a worthwhile cause. We work real closely with the Gabrielino, the Quiche tribe.
Yes, okay.
And they've been on the show many a time, and they're so concerned because of all the ancient burial grounds that are in the area, right? So it sort of ties in on all this. But like I said, you're welcome to stay, Senator, and listen to the band and enjoy.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Love the band.
All right, gentlemen, take it away. Right.
Really have to run your hands.
really trace. And I got a feeling I'm gonna find it tonight. Special kind of evening you won't be. Listen to the music, it'll set you free. And I got a feeling you're gonna find it tonight. Been a long, long way, can't relax. Won't be home, but I'll be making tracks. And I got a feeling I'm gonna find it tonight. When the woogie people dancing out of control, it's on Friday, ain't about to lose my soul. But I got a feeling I'm gonna find it tonight. Please, let's kind of eat me if you want to be. Listen to the music, it'll set you free. And I got a feeling you're gonna find it tonight. Yeah, it's been a long week, can't relax. Won't be home, but I'll be making tracks. I got a feeling I'm gonna find it tonight. And here she goes. Eddie Monte. I said, singing, drinking, never face to face, and I'm a look for you on the really trace. Special kind of evening if you want to be. Listen to the music, it'll set you free. And I got a feeling I'm gonna find it. I got a feeling you're gonna find it. I got a feeling I'm gonna find it tonight.
That was good.
I actually believe he's gonna find it.
That was good.
You're looking for it, that's for sure. Just remind people once again, we got Steven's Steakhouse, we got Brentwood, who's going to be performing with the Mad Latins, also Power Play. And you want to go down there, check it out, you're going to have a great time. Also, Ray Carrion, Concerts in the Park, 16. And let me see, I'll give you the, see, I'm reading this as we go along. Okay, as you have the Concerts in the Park, you're going to have Neon Nation, the Ultimate 80s Experience, Los Pistoleros, and then our good friends, the Tees, on August 7th. And those are real good friends of ours. So you want to go down there and support the Concerts in the Park. Speaking of good things happening, we have from La Historia, Olga Gutierrez. A round of applause for Olga. How are you doing, dear?
Okay.
Is this exciting that you guys are going to be having this event?
Oh,
coming
yes.
up?
Yes, it is, and it is very important because you mentioned I work for the museum. Well, not really. We're volunteers. You know,
Right.
we do work, but we don't get paid, and so we really need the money because unlike the other museum that they are subsidized by the city, we are not, and so we have to raise our own money for upkeep and for everything. Plus, this year we voted to allot $1,000 to $500 scholarships in honor of Father John Cofield. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He had a great deal to do with helping the barrio community of Monte. And Joe Venegas, who was the school teacher at El Monte High, big supporter of ours. And as you know, he passed away suddenly. But we'd like to offer a, he was about to retire, so he was.
Yeah, we were both history teachers, so sometimes I'd fill in his class, he'd fill in my class and such. So.
Well, I'm kind of a history teacher too. In other words, I tell people, ask me, are you retired? I say, I'm retired from public education, but not from education, because our museum educates. That's the principle. I'm still teaching.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, I should. When I saw the video, I realized I should have brought the video we did. You know, I used to lecture the classes that came from El Monte High, basically lecture them on the history of the barrios. Plus, we go all the back to the Native Americans, the Spanish period, which was the mission, the Mexican period, which was the ranchos and the Californias. But we were able, luckily, in 2008 to receive a grant from a California foundation. So with that, we bought a lot of equipment and decided, why don't we make it more interesting? And so we did a video at which I was the narrator, but in this case, we did it like the History Channel, with pictures.
You need to.
And I need to bring.
Well, you can come again.
Yes, I will.
And we can see that.
And we even had actual footage of the Mexican Revolution, because that brought about a big influx to the southwest, and the hundreds to Almani, which was rural agricultural truck farm, and they weren't welcomed, but they needed to be worked on the farms. So they worked on the farms and formed their own barrios, colonias, and.
Well, Vivian's dad, he worked right there with the sugar beets.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and Ernie, I was going to say Ernie, but I'm here representing La Historia, and my husband, who's the president of the museum, my husband, Ernie Gutierrez, who was former mayor, but he worked in the fields right here.
You went to school with my brother, too. So
yes.
We had a connection.
I've known you since you were.
Yeah, I know.
Which just tells you how old that I'm old.
No, it just means I grew up.
Anyway, so as I said, we did this video to show so that it would make it more interesting for the students. They still have to take notes. It's still a requirement for their class at Almani High. But it's a lot more interesting to see footage of the, because again, as I said, in 1910, when the Mexican Revolution started, that brought an influx of thousands to the southwest, which they call the Norte, and hundreds to the Monte area. And of course, they formed their barrios and called them barrios because barrio is the correct Spanish word for section of town.
Right.
So you can have a affluent barrio or poor barrio, Mexico cities like that. Wealthy colonias, poor colonias. And why did they call them barrios? Because they spoke Spanish, so,
Well, it was a different time. See, and people, when they think of immigration, they're thinking of people coming in through, programs like the Bracero program. But the border was not that old when the Mexican Revolution occurred.
No, not at all.
It had only been about 30, 40 years old, really, when they finally...
And quite open at the time.
Yeah,
because
just, it's like I'm going across the street to go see my family, right?
Well, yeah, my grandfather lived in Guanajuato, and he has family up north in California, Hernandez, and he would cross the border to see them without any...
My pops used to tell me a story because he lived in El Paso, and he used to cross to Juarez. And he'd say they would float across sometimes because they go across the Rio Grande, right? Because he had a general store back in 1910, around that time period. So, so it's people, they need to be educated on that and need to know. We have a very rich history and a tapestry here that is intertwined.
To the high school students, I try to educate them on the word barrio because unfortunately most of them think barrio, that's a gang, huh? I said, no, that's the correct word for section of town, and it means. And they called them barrios because they spoke Spanish, and and they started it like Hicks Camp, which was very large, as migrant camps. It's before 1910, but after that, families came and they became actually not just migrant camps, but homes for
it became communities.
Communities, And what we try to tell in the barrio, in the video, is, and what we try to tell people is that in spite of all the struggles that these people found, discrimination and racism, they were able, most of them, to achieve the American dream, which is what they came for, And I know when I was making it, because I was the narrator, I told the one who was doing the filming, I said, I'm thinking of my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and I hope I'm honoring them and doing a good job because I remember how much they struggled when they came,
Did. Let's give a round of applause.
Sure, they were looking right down on you. I'm feeling very proud.
That is so cool that you're doing that and you're reinforcing that, because we're very blessed. We got, and I was talking the other day about what wonderful people. Yesterday we met with City Council, so to speak, and I mentioned how blessed we were to have all these volunteers, young and old. I got my adopted daughter Maggie here, and she's was nominated Woman of the Year. Of course, beautiful Miss Vivian, so talented singer. Her father, who's an actor, par excellence. My interns, wonderful people, and just it's truly a blessing to have all these people around, including this crazy band over here, because they come on in as volunteers and they come to help, and that's what it is. It's a sense of community.
It is.
And this is what the Historia is reinforcing, the sense of community.
Yeah.
And it's sad that you're not subsidized, because that is that's invaluable information.
Well, we have been very fortunate, I might have to admit, by the city council, because that's something my husband secured at the very beginning, the building, for $1 a year. So they're basically they're letting us,
That's a good deal.
yeah, but we're trying to get them to possibly give it to us, so we would have collateral to get a bigger
Right.
because in the long run we agreed this with the city council at that time in 2000 when we opened, that eventually 2001, excuse me, that eventually it'll go to the city, so there'll be a city museum.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation.
So,
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
not going to be. It's for communities, not for
well, see,
us.
that's what I'm saying. It's a volunteer mentality, a community mentality. I mean, even down to, like in our case, our announcer Jamie Neary, who pitches in. She works for the city.
I know.
But she still comes in, even after she's tired. She got her kid, and she's like, still does it and helps us out. And I think what you're doing is admirable, and I'm glad that you were here on the same show with Senator Ed Hernandez.
Oh yes, I was going to say that's a very hard act to follow.
Well, you're doing
No.
all right. You're doing all right.
Yes.
And we're proud to have you on the show and doing what you're doing. And I don't know what to tell you. We're going to talk a little bit more. Well, I'm going to let the band.
Well, first of all, she had the
yeah,
flyer.
Oh yeah, I was going to say we also developed.
This is why I can't live without this one.
I know. We also developed that again. This with the grant money. Some of the grant money, mostly our own money. We developed the Cuentos de los Barrios. This is the second one. I know we ran out of the first one we have to publish. And these are stories written by members of the Historia who lived in the barrios.
Let's hold this up.
There's
so
even
that
one
people
by
can see this book.
one-
Shot of that?
there's one by Ernie, my husband Ernie. There's one of mine. There's one of my son who really is more contemporary. So we did that, and we started producing calendars since 2000 with the pictures that you have in the barrios,
Oh, that's
and we
very
sell
nice
them,
calendar.
and many people keep them, all because
yeah,
of the
after,
pictures.
yeah.
These are pictures that are in.
You should buy extra.
And these are for
I have
sale.
to. Yeah, the new ones are $6, but
$6 for.
the old ones will sell for $3, and people buy them because they come and say, "Oh, my mother was in. I want to find her. I think she's in 2010," and they'll buy. No, but that's for
and
you.
They have
You can.
interesting pictures, and
I brought you, and that's for you guys,
Oh, well, thank you.
including this.
it's great. You have pictures
I love
here
books.
of.
And then,
It's very
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
For every month there's something. And then we have sponsors who buy an ad.
Stories.
And we have a
Encourage.
wall dedicated, and we always have a month dedicated to our military. We have a wall dedicated to all the men from the barrios who
Sir.
served, and in the middle, those who did not come back. Because unfortunately, I don't think Hollywood has done enough to tell the story of the Latino, Mexican American. I know, and so we're trying to somehow bring attention to that and give them. We have men that died in D-Day.
I believe the name of the gentleman was Guy Gabaldon, who came.
Gabaldon, yeah.
Gabaldon, okay. Now this man captured a whole island of Japanese, 1,000 people. He caught him by himself, captured him. They made the movie in Hollywood, and he was played by what's his name? God, I can't think of the actor's name, but blonde hair, blue eyes, 6 feet tall. Okay, and Guy was short, moreno, dark, dark gentleman, but he was raised with Japanese family, so he learned the language, and he was able to save the island, basically.
Wow.
And it's just it's amazing, and that's like. I mean, you could be hard-pressed to find a movie about anybody in the military, even though we're the most decorated veterans in
World War II.
Yeah.
Hmm. Out of 25 medals of honor, 13 were Mexican American, or whatever. 1 or 2 were from Mexico, or actually. And the Battle of the Bulge, which was from December 16th to January 1945, that was the battle that totally defeated the Nazis. Had they won, Hitler would have settled. Well, I'm afraid most of those thousands of Mexican-American men were not blonde and blue eyes. They were short and dark, like my uncles were there.
Yeah.
And Lupe Torres, very handsome young man, that we have his picture up there. He was from the Medina Court. He died in the Battle of the Bulge. Before he turned 21, so he never married. He just died. Because the Germans the Nazis put all their effort because that would have turned them.
Oh yeah, turn the tide.
But they defeated them.
Well, you know, we have you should come on maybe and talk to our buddy Ruben for our veteran show, right, Maggie? And come on by and talk a little bit about that history because.
As I said, I'm sorry if I go on about all these things, but I am still an educator.
No, well, we all do that.
You've educated us.
In fact, sometimes I'm at a party and I'm having a glass of wine and my husband tells me, I start talking about history. He says, why do you always have to start teaching?
It's in your blood. It's in your blood.
Yeah, once you're a teacher, you
Here we got Dancing Queen and.
Those are like some of our annual fundraisers. Which bring me to our new one.
Speaking of annual fundraiser.
Yeah, we're having one to raise money this Saturday, July 12th, and the ones we'll be playing will be Los Pistoleros. So if there are folks out there who are fans of them, please come. And it's $20 per person. Yes, and it's at the Grace Black Auditorium, El Monte Community Center, and it's
3130 Tyler Avenue.
Right, 3130 Tyler Avenue, El Monte, California. And it's to raise funds for our museum. And as I said, for those 2 scholarships that we want to start giving in honor of Father John Caulfield. We have a wall dedicated to him.
How can they get a hold of you? Is there a number they can call you?
Yeah, they're right here.
The flyer, we have a
The
number?
flyer has the museum, which is 626-279-1954. And Rosa Peña, who's our vice president, her phone number is there, 626-246-4631. And Teresa Gutierrez, that's my granddaughter, she's on the board too, and that's 562-361-0084. And Dolores Gonzalez Aro, I know you know, yeah. 626-448-0691. They're in charge.
I thought she was going to be here tonight. She used to come to our show.
Oh yeah, she said she was. Well, what happened and why I'm alone is because it's the end for the and all of them were coming and all of them are behind schedule. And my granddaughter was coming and she's I have to do all the centerpieces. I can't go. I think she's going to spend.
So the dinner starts at 6
to 8, and then the
dancing starts at 8 and ends at 12, and they will have a raffle door prize and a 50-50 drawing.
Yeah, raffle door prizes,
and it's going to be Hawaiian attire, so that would be fun to dress up and go to this fundraiser and have a nice dinner and dance.
That's easy for you to say, David. You look great in Hawaiian.
Great.
Yeah, look like down hole or something.
No, you could wear a shirt.
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, just easy.
No, but I was going to say, it's optional. I really don't have anything. They wanted me to dress Hawaiian. I said, well, maybe I'll wear a red dress. I don't know, something colorful. I don't have.
Wear a flower in your hair and you'll look
they're
exotic.
Yeah. Well, we're going to need you to come on back so you can talk more with us.
And then you can show us that video.
Yes, please.
Oh, I would like
really like that. And we'll just
That'd
remind
be
people
great.
once again.
I will.
Support this event.
It's yours.
Give it to us.
I'm going to bring it. Yes, I am. And you can. It's really about 35 minutes, but you probably couldn't show all of it. But it does have some. It's quite well.
What we'll do is we'll run it on the channel. We can run it separately too as well.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of which, back there in the out of control room, do we have just about a minute, 2 minutes of pancake breakfast?
Okay, I'll bring it to you. Yeah.
Go away, and then we'll close off with the band.
Okay, that's great. I'll bring it. Yeah, I should have done it. It's quite nice, everybody.
Annual pancake breakfast on July 4th. We have our officers, many officers that have come out today to have breakfast with you guys. And every year we want to have that safe July 4th. And if you guys have been following us on social media, I'd like to let you guys know over the past month, the Monte Police Department, working with the Los Angeles County Fire Department Arson Unit, we have confiscated over 50 tons of fireworks. So give our men and women a hand. As you guys celebrate July 4th today,
Again, like I said, that a video of the pancake breakfast will be in the it is up on our website at www.almontetv3.com and also on YouTube. And you just look under pancake breakfast, oddly enough. And don't forget, La Historia Society, they have their event. It's going to be happening, $20 on July 12th. We got all kinds of good things, of course. My beautiful partner, Miss Vivian, at Stevens Steakhouse. And further down the road, she'll be over at, where was that again? That was Krantz Intermediate. And we have the Back to School Resource Fair. And Miss Vivian's going to be at Sounds of Music. Did I get it right?
At 1 p.m.
1 p.m. because she has so many bands going. I don't know what's going on. So, till we see you once again, this is Arturo Esparza. I want to thank you for tuning in to El Monte Tonight. Just want to remind you once again, do not drink and drive. Be good, and God bless, because we want to see you back here again when it is Wednesday night. Take it away, Big D and the Blue Street Band. Thank you very much.